Don't see it as rejection. See it as redirection. Whether you're rejected by a person, a job, a creative endeavor, try thinking of it in those moments, even though I know it's hard, as a good thing. You don't want what doesn't want you ultimately, and it won't feel good to hold on to something like that. And so instead of seeing it as rejection, as something so personal to you that something or someone just does not want you, see it as a redirection in your life. A little roadblock that popped up to tell you this is not the right way. Instead, move in this direction. That's the right way. For me, it's helped to reframe it this way because these rejections are going to come up constantly in life in various ways, in various forms. And so when you stop seeing it as something so personal, so devastating to who you are and your ego, it becomes easier to not only accept them, but also welcome them at times, because you want to be rejected by the things that aren't right for you. You want to be pushed away from them and redirected on the right path. Who are you really if you're accepted by everything?
Being rejected by my ex was actually the best thing that could have ever happened to me. Because all I would have done is just continued trying to force him to act right and to love me the way that I needed. So essentially, being rejected actually forced me to stop romanticizing the relationship and see it for what it was and come back to reality. And it also forced me to really work on myself and focus on my growth. I literally changed for the better after that rejection. And of course, at first, initially, I was hurt and I felt very rejected, very abandoned, and very sad, lonely. I felt all the feelings. And it's because I felt like I put so much love into him just to leave with nothing. But I had to realize that I wasn't actually leaving with nothing. I had to leave him alone in order to come back home to me. And so finding that home in myself was essentially a...
Ladies, I cannot lie. I can't lie. I love when I find out that thing that did not work out for me turned out to be that was for me. Like it's in my best interest that I did not get what I thought that I wanted. Sometimes God will really show you that thing that you thought you could not live without. If you had gotten it, it would have taken you out. For sure. It would have taken you out. It happened to me over and over and over again. And I'm going to tell you how. This happens to me often. And I don't want to sound too hyper spiritual, but this is how I know God has got something for me. He must, because every time I get rejected, every time some relationship doesn't pan out the way that I thought it would, I am always given the reason why that didn't work out a couple of months later. If I wait a little bit, if I just wait and I watch, it will become clear as to why that man could not be for me. So anyways, a dude that I had a crush on in December, we never even got to the second date. We went on one date. We used to talk on the phone frequently. I thought that he was so evolved and respectful and emotionally mature and all of that. I really liked him, but things never progressed. He got a girlfriend in February. At least that's when I found out that he had a girlfriend, was February or March. And they've been together all this time. Why is this man currently, as we speak, in my DMs asking me if I'll come over? Absolutely not, sir. And I did my due diligence. I said, hold on. Aren't you still with old girl? What happened to old girl? Tell me about old girl. What's going on? He's like, yeah. But, we already knew each other. It's friendly. It's friendly. No, it's not, sir. It's nothing. That's what it is. It's not friendly. It's not anything because you're actually about to be blocked. And I just have to thank God that that's not my man. If he'll cheat on her, he'll cheat on me. So if I would have got what I thought that I wanted in December, I would be over here heartbroken right now. I'd be singing a very different tune. So yeah, the next time that you're dating some guy and it doesn't pan out and you all heartbroken and sad, ask God, look, why couldn't it happen? Show me, because I sure ask him. I'm not afraid. I'll ask him anything. Every single time that I start dating someone and it doesn't end up the way that I want, I'll straight up ask him, show me why, tell me, because I know it's got to be some sort of reason. So let me see him for who he really is. If that's what it is, open my eyes, because I want to see, and he will.
And that's it for today, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. It's been your girl, Joanne Complete, as always. I'd like to wish you a wonderful day. Take care of your beautiful lives. Until next time, I love you. Bye.
A lot of people do not look at rejection as a skill, but it is. We're dealing with rejection. It is a skill that once you develop it, you develop the thickest skin, a backbone. You basically don't desire the need for validation from anyone. That's how I feel. Honestly, people think that women don't get rejected, but we do. And honestly, it's not even just when it comes to friendships or relationships, opportunities as well. Things that you want in life. And honestly, as you go through those things, and you realize that you're still amazing and that you're still valuable and that you're still worthy, your self-concept of yourself becomes very strong and powerful. And that's what people need to realize. Who cares?
And when you give God the glory for the things that he did do, don't you dare forget to also give him glory for the things that he didn't. You wanted that thing so bad. You wanted that thing so bad. But had he given it to you in this season, in another season, you would be crying, begging him to take away in that season what you prayed for in a previous season. The danger seen is one thing. So you can give him glory for that. But let me tell you something. The dangers unseen, you have no idea. You have no idea. So this is what I need you to do. When you go about your everyday life, I need you to start looking at life differently, because some people will see somebody cut them off and they'll get the cussing, they'll get the hollering, they'll get the tweaking out. Let me tell you something. God's protection comes in so many different forms, because you don't know what lied in front of you. You don't know what was waiting for you right up the street, but God allowed another car to cut you off, to slow you down, to pull you back. See, you don't think about it like that. You want to sit here and you want to get mad because people cut you off. You want to sit here and you want to get mad because things don't work out. You want to sit here and you want to get mad because you have to wait a little bit longer on things. You have no idea what's going on the back end. So for the danger seen, yes. For the open doors, yes. For the things he did do, yes. Absolutely. We give you all the glory, the honor, and the praise. But Father, on today, we want to give you glory for the things that you did not do. For the dangers unseen. For the doors that you shut. We give you glory for that on today.
Hey, rejection is a blessing. We only feel rejected where we were once welcomed. So if you're in a situation where you feel like a particular person or a group of people are rejecting you, rejection is your biggest blessing. Yes, rejection might come wrapped up with pain. It's not nice to feel rejected where you were once welcomed, but it's for your own good. Every person right now that pushes you away, pushega, meaning be pushed away. So rejection sometimes saves us from our biggest pain. There's a quote where it says, if you realize that you're in the wrong train, get off the next stop. Because if you move with the train to its destination, going back, the ticket will be more expensive. So if you feel rejected by people right now, let them go. Because they're saving you.
I know for sure out of experience that rejection is redirection. I've seen it happen a lot in my life. And though when you are rejected in the moment, you may feel bad, but in most cases, things always work out for you. And if you are outside there and you have experienced how rejection can be a blessing, how rejection can be protection, how rejection can be redirection, share your thoughts in the comment section. Share with us your experience when it comes to this. Do you agree with this? Or have you ever experienced this?
Some people know that they wouldn't be able to sustain a connection with you or have a dynamic or be in proximity with you, so they'll create circumstances to repeatedly make you feel rejected by them. And if you're not, if you don't have a deep-rooted sense of self or a strong ability to return to self, that can trigger a subconscious wound of needing to be accepted, or just whatever your relationship with rejection is will pop out regardless of who it is.
Let's talk about how rejection can be a blessing in relationships. In case you are a man and you are rejected by a woman, and you are a woman and you're rejected by a man, if you see this rejection as a blessing, you end up getting a better partner. You end up getting a better relationship, because in case someone rejects you because you're broke, because you don't look good, in most cases, if you see this as a blessing, and instead of crying about it, you start making sure you work on yourself. Maybe if someone left you because you are broke, you realize that you need to work so hard and get yourself in a better position financially. So this helps you to realize that you also have to work hard and get yourself in a better place financially. But at the same time, it helps you to look for a partner who love you for who you are. And again, if you were rejected because you were not looking so good, in most cases, you end up getting motivated to look after yourself the more and getting better with your self-care. And in most cases, you are not doing this for any person you're going to date, but you realize that you end up loving yourself the more because you are doing something for yourself, which is making you feel good. And you realize that the next time you get a partner, you'll be so confident enough to entertain only someone who really aligns with what you really want in life. Because in most cases, when you are rejected, in most cases, you are going for someone who really doesn't align with what you really want. So when you take care of yourself and now you're taking care of yourself after the rejection and you're motivated, you end up loving yourself the more, and you end up aligning yourself with people who with the same values like you, people who are going to love you for who you are, not because of the things you have. Because initially, people who rejected you reject you because of the things you don't have, and yet you don't need such people in your life, and that is a blessing because you only need people who love you for who you are. That is how rejection in relationships can be a blessing. Let's talk about rejection when it comes to friendships. In most cases, if you are rejected by friends and you see it as a blessing, in most cases, you turn out to be a very successful friend because you realize the time you would have spent to please those friends who don't like you, you spend it now on making sure you become the better version of yourself. And you find that most of the people who are rejected by their friends, they end up concentrating on their careers. They end up concentrating on bettering their personal life. And this helps them so much to be successful in their personal life and in their career. I've had a lot of stories where you find someone who tells you, like, I was rejected by my friends, I was isolated by my friends, and instead of crying about it, instead of trying so much to please them so that they can accept me in the friend group, I ended up just being by myself and working on myself to be better in my personal life and in my career life, and realize these people succeed a lot. Sometimes rejection is a blessing because in most cases, the more you keep people in your life who really don't like you, the more you're going to be hurt, the more you are going to be put down all the time, and this will make you to fail to be successful in life. So when people reject you, it's really a blessing because they are helping you to understand that you need to be by yourself so that you can be able to uplift yourself and become a better person by yourself, because you don't need them at all. But in most cases, sometimes when people are rejected, they end up asking themselves why they have been rejected, and they end up crying about it. Yet at that point of time, all you need is to move on and motivate yourself and consider that rejection as a blessing, as a redirection. Because in most cases, if you see the rejection as a failure, you will end up failing to succeed in life, because you'll be thinking about rejection, you'll be thinking that you're not lucky, you'll be thinking you are a bad person. Yet rejection is really a normal thing. When people reject you, you have to think about the good side of rejection, and the good side of rejection is redirection. Rejection is a protection, because sometimes you're being protected from those people who have rejected you, because sometimes you don't deserve them. Maybe sometimes they're bad people. Maybe sometimes you cannot succeed when you're with them. So the moment you focus on yourself, then you'll get the answers to the rejection. And in most cases, the answer is Rejection is redirection. Rejection is protection. Rejection is a blessing. Rejection is always working for you. It's not working against you. All you need is to believe that. The moment you believe that, then you'll be able to take on the steps which can help you to thrive even after a rejection. And in all the stories I've seen in life, most of the people who are successful, they have been rejected in their lives. But all they did is to see a rejection as a blessing, to see rejection as a motivation to get better. And also when it comes to careers, in most cases, when you see people who are successful in their careers, they have a history of rejection. And what they always do when it comes to rejection, whenever they are rejected, it is a sign for them to go back and do better. And so whenever they do better, they become even better when it comes to their career. And the more they do that, the more they get more and more better with their careers. And that is why when they are rejected, they end up to become more successful, because they don't cry about it. In most cases, they see it as a redirection. They see it as a blessing. They see it as protection. And also realize that people who are rejected in a certain career, and when they sit down, this rejection helps them to realize that they even don't like this career. So they change to another career, and then you realize that in another career they've changed to, they become more better and they become more successful and big. And this is something that normally happens when it comes to rejection in careers. I've seen people who are always talking about that, and that is why we have to understand all the time that even if we are rejected in our careers, we have to understand that this is not a problem. We're not supposed to feel bad about it. We are supposed to lift up ourselves and figure out how we can do better. And also, rejection can be protection. In most cases, you see people like who have been rejected in relationships, or they end up crying about their partner. They end up feeling like they've missed out the person. Yet in most cases, sometimes people who reject them are really not meant for them. Are really not meant for them. In most cases, they don't even align with their values, because someone who aligns with your values, they wouldn't have rejected you, because they would have loved everything about you. And so because they've rejected you, it means you're being protected from someone who doesn't align with your values. And in the moment, you may be crying about it, but when you believe that it's protection or it's a blessing, you will be able to meet someone in the future who really aligns with your values. Because if someone accepts you for who you are, meaning they're aligning with your values. And if they're not aligning with your values, they are willing to accept your values. And this is someone you need in your life. And then also, sometimes you can be feeling bad when you are rejected by friends, but in most cases, the friends who reject you, sometimes they are not good friends. These are the friends sometimes who are always talking bad about you behind your back. And when you are with them, they really show you who they are. They reject you because they don't like you. And this is really protection, because you're being protected from bad friends who really don't like you, because you don't want to surround yourself with friends who really don't like you. So the moment you realize that friends are rejecting you, meaning you're being protected from people who don't like you, because when someone rejects you, it's a clear sign that they don't like you. So you have to try so much not to cry about it, not to blame yourself thinking like you're not enough. You are enough, but just because people just don't like you. And so when you accept that, you can move forward, and you will always try to align yourself with friends who really like you. And in most cases, friends who like you are friends who align with your values, and you will always want to have friends who align with your values, because that helps you to have good friends in life.